Welcome to Learn It, a series of tutorials just for digital scrapbookers by Studio Wendy at Scrapbook Graphics. Today we're going to look at Paper Stacker. It's a great big giant set of actions that will help you layer and stack your papers on top of each other. It's a fantastic way to use up all those awesome patterned papers that you don't know what to do with. Today we'll be featuring the Studio Mix Carnival Story by Flurgs, Julia, and Miss Vivi at Scrapbook Graphics. So here we are in Photoshop Elements. These actions will also work in Photoshop CS. You'll see here that I've already installed the actions. Over here on the Effects palette, you can click there and see Paper Stacker and Paper Stacker Pro. If you click on Paper Stacker, it will load up all the thumbnails of all 30 actions in this set. And you can scroll up and down and see them all. We're going to take a look quickly at just a couple of them. We'll start off with the angled to paper left positioning action, and we'll click Apply. In Photoshop CS, you would click the play button. We get a little message here telling us that this action will stack two papers towards the left of the layout. It also lets us know that we need to choose our papers when prompted and press Continue. Here the action pauses, asking us to open a paper. We're going to go right into our Carnival Story paper folder. Click on one of the papers. If you want to preview it first, on the Mac you can click the alternate view up here and you can scroll through and pick the perfect paper. Let's choose this one, click Open. The action will place the first paper into the document for us and prompt us to pick the second paper. We'll pick a light cream color for that one. It's going to put it on the layout and position it for us. That is the first action. Now let's take a look at another one. Let's just go ahead and close out of that. We'll take a look at the 4B paper stacker. Press OK. We're reminded that it will stack 4 papers, and to press to select a paper when prompted. So we'll pick one here. We'll pick a second one. Let's see, I like that one. Let's pick a third one. And one from the bottom of the stack here. And when it's all said and done, that's what that stack of papers looks like. You'll see here that you have a layer style applied to each of the layers to give it a little bit of depth, but you can change those to any style that you have loaded, or simply edit those styles by double-clicking on them. Now your page is ready to add photos, embellishments, titles, alphas, and whatever else you want. So that's the Paper Stacker set. We're also going to take a quick look at Paper Stacker Pro. Paper Stacker Pro is a little bit different. There are 8 actions included with Paper Stacker Pro, and with Paper Stacker Pro you are actually going to control the placement and size of every paper as it goes along. So let's just pick the 4 paper action and press Apply. Remember that Elements users have to have a blank document open before they can apply that action. After the little message here, we're going to press Continue. We'll select our first paper. The first one is placed to fill the layout completely, but when we pick the second paper here, it will be placed onto the document and we will be able to rotate it by clicking right outside and dragging, as well as resizing it by grabbing one of those corner handles and going smaller or larger. When you're happy with the placement, just press Enter or Function Return. You'll be prompted for another paper. We'll pick this one. and we'll go through the same steps. In this case, I'm going to rotate this one the other direction, enlarge it, press enter, and for the final paper, we'll come down here, grab this one, and offset that. There we go. Now our stack of papers is complete, and we had complete control over the placement and size of each of those papers. And again, over here on your layer effects panel, you can go ahead and change those shadow settings if there's a setting that you like better. Finally, in the Pro set, there is a paper saver action, and if you press apply for that, it's going to save a TIFF file. If you want to save a layered TIFF file with the correct settings to keep the file small, you want to use LZW compression. You can choose IBM or Macintosh, depending on what system you have, and then choose zip compression, which is a little bit slower, but saves a smaller file. Click OK. You can dismiss this message and tell it not to show it again if you don't want to see it. And then when this is done saving the layered TIFF file, it is going to also save a copy as a JPEG, which if you're a designer, you can then sell these stacked papers to your customers along with your individual papers. It's a great extra little option or bonus add-on that you can prepare for them. Here we're prompted to save the JPEG, and you can type in the name there and then click Save. For compression, with the JPEG options, you always want to save around a 10. Lower than a 10 can introduce some artifacts, some distortion into the image, but when you go higher than 10, those files can be much larger. I find that 10 is a really good option. Click OK, and you're done. And that is all there is to the Paper Stacker action and the Paper Stacker Pro. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Learn It. See you next time.